Hey y'all, what's going on? It's your girl Donna D, aka the Urban Mommy, and I am back with another podcast. Now I know y'all haven't seen me by myself in a while, but no fret, I'm back doing a solo podcast today. Y'all know I've been doing an interview style for a while, but every once in a while I want to hit y'all with some wisdom that I have. So today's topic is going to be one of those touchy subjects. It's going to be one of those topics that we always like to say it's a pill that's hard to swallow. I've done it. You've done it. She's done it. A lot of people have done it, but we don't talk about it enough. And we are now, it's a new day. It's time that we start recognizing things that we are doing wrong. We started accepting our mistakes and we start working to fix it because there's no need to continue to use excuses. So, with that being said, the title of today's episode is Ignoring Red Flags. Yes. So I know they say that hindsight is always 2020. Believe me, I understand. It's easier said than done with a lot of these things. I mean, I was a teenager before, so I know how easy it is to say something, but then when it comes down to it, you can't find the courage because sometimes it's hard. I remember in my sixth grade math class, I don't remember the teacher's name, but I remember the school was Marion Central. We had a teacher, and I honestly don't remember anything else I learned in that class except for this one thing. But I always thought that this was one of those pivotal moments in my life. He said there's three types of people. The first type is a dumb person. They don't learn from their mistakes. He said the second type is a smart person. They do learn from their mistakes. And the third person is a wise person. They learn from other people's mistakes. So today's podcast is on the premise that we are all going to seek to be wise. Now, I know sometimes, especially in relationships, we've all been dumb. And when I say dumb, I'm talking about the definition I just gave you. We've all been dumb before. Some of us have been smart, but we want to start being wise. All right? Y'all got to listen to us old folks. See, when I was young, movies and music taught me, and my mama didn't even let me watch rated R movies or listen to cursing music. So I had a hard time trying to learn the world without no real experience other than what I seen on TV or listen to music. But now, because of the internet, because of the way things are, the ease of talking to generations and stuff like that, it's different. Sometimes us old folks go through stuff so y'all don't have to go through it. So this really is for my younger people, but I mean anybody could benefit from this. Okay, so let's start. And you're probably saying, what is a red flag? You know, we always say it is kind of cliche at some points, but a red flag is when someone displays a personality trait or does an action that is not desirable or problematic when exploring the possibility of romantic involvement with said person. I'm sorry, I can read, but the words are really small. Okay, so that's what a red flag is. Now, red flags are not just for relationships, but for this definition, that's what I chose because it was just easy, right? So that's a red flag. But red flags are basically anything that you see that you kind of ignore, and we see it a lot. Red flags are all over in relationships and jobs and schools and a lot of things. We see red flags and most of us ignore them. All right. So let's talk about some common red flags because we're talking about relationships now. We got to keep it real. All right. I found this online. It was from a website called Therapy Now. And it says red flags in relationships. So they give you a couple of examples: jealousy, refusal to compromise, lack of communication, controlling behaviors, lying, excessive criticism, codependency, lack of support, abuse, unable to be flexible, not respecting boundaries. And is that it? Not respecting boundaries and substance use or abuse. Okay, so that is some examples of red flags. So now let's get into the actual nitty-gritty of the video. Okay, so now that we know what red flags are and we know some examples of them, a lot of times people that want to be in love or people that want to be in a relationship, they sometimes call them hopeless romantics. Sometimes people want to be in a relationship so bad that they often settle. They often accept things that they would never accept in other circumstances. And I was single not too long ago. So trust me, I know that the dating pool is contaminated. Okay, it's contaminated. So I understand when you find somebody halfway decent, you try to work with them. You try your best. However, don't let your fear of being alone force you to accept something that you would never accept otherwise. Don't allow you to make you go into a relationship and with something that you don't deserve. Now you probably say something I don't deserve. How do I know what I deserve? I'm glad you asked. How do I know what I deserve? Well, for one, some people that's born with high self-esteem, they already know what they deserve. They already know I want this, I want that. They kind of make it clear. They put out their qualities, what they want in whatever, whether it's a job, a spouse, or whatever. But some people have issues with self-esteem, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But sometimes they don't know what they deserve. So what I found is that even though you may not know what you deserve, you definitely know what you don't deserve. An example of what you don't deserve. You don't deserve somebody abusing you. You don't deserve somebody lying to you, cheating on you, or whatever. Now, this is my definitions of cheating, not on any of the other ones that we discussed on my podcast. This is me talking right now. Not sometimes, all the times, you do not deserve that. Don't let your fear of being by yourself make you put up with situations that you would never put up with. Another thing that I do, the way to make you know if you should put up with it is just think about it. Just pretend that your child is coming to you telling you about their relationship, but pretend it's your relationship. So they're telling you all that stuff. Sometimes you have to get outside of yourself to hear how crazy stuff sounds. So if you hear your daughter telling you that her boyfriend is doing this and this and this and this and this to her, and this is actually what's going on with you, sometimes it's easier to say, you know what? I don't deserve this. I deserve better than this. I deserve somebody to actually love me. And that's a possibility. Some of us are so afraid to start over. Some of us are so afraid that we're going to be by ourselves, that we're going to find anybody to love us or whatever issues. And that's some stuff that could be fixed by therapy as well. But what all that boils down to is your self-esteem. And self-esteem, self-worth, it's a lot of people know how to put on a good face. So a lot of people know how to, fake it till they make it. So people don't understand how common self-worth and low self-esteem issues really are because people do such a good job pretending. But a lot of those people have self-esteem issues. They could be beautiful. Just because somebody is beautiful does not mean that they don't have self-esteem issues. You ever thought about when sometimes you see different couples on TV and they cheating or whatever, and you see a beautiful woman and she's getting abused, dogged out by, a not so attractive looking man, and you saying to yourself, what is it? What is it? A lot of us, we're going to think, it could be certain things, but sometimes it is the fact that people have low self-esteem. And sometimes people with low self-esteem, like I said, they could dress nice. They could say, I know I'm beautiful. Just because you say, you're beautiful does not mean that you don't have low self-esteem. That's why you see beautiful girls doing strange things. Beautiful people do strange things. And it's a lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of times it's because they lack self-worth in so many different areas. And sometimes they tend to attract people that know that. And some of those people know how to feed on their self-esteem issues, and they kind of gaslight them. So gaslighting is when somebody basically make you feel crazy for thinking something that you know is, or what you think to know is true. So sometimes you get into a relationship, you already have low self-esteem. Your partner knows that. Don't matter how he or she looks, they know that you have an issue with self-esteem, and they will say stuff to you. I remember when I was younger, I used to date this guy, and I didn't realize how manipulative he was when I was first with him. But I remember when we was about to break up, he said to me, you're not gonna be able to find nobody. Nobody gonna want to be with you. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I was kind of nice when I was young. I was a pretty girl. I was smart. I had a car. So, I had everything going on for me. But that dude told me that. And even though I kind of like brushed it off, it always sat in the back of my head. And then he said something like, "Oh yeah, you about to go mess with them other dudes. I hope you don't catch nothing." And I was like, but it was all manipulation stuff. All right. Now, that's getting off the subject, but some people know how to manipulate those kind of people. But you have to remember about your worth. That's something that we could get into therapy. Do self-help. If you don't want to go to therapy, read self-help books, listen to affirmations. I have several podcasts on here that talk about confidence. Confidence is important. When I tell you about everything, jobs, everything with relationships, confidence is key. Once you get your confidence and once you start knowing yourself and knowing your self-worth, you have to make people pay. I know it's cliche to say, oh, they're going to pay my worth plus tax and all that stuff. Yeah, that is every bit of true. You have to know your worth. I have a article, a blog post that I wrote on my Urban Mommy website, and it was a while back. And in fact, I'm gonna read it because I don't even know if I'm saying the same stuff. Because I mean, this has been a couple of years of growth since then. But I promise you, any money, I'm telling you the similar stuff because these are lessons that I learned. Y'all don't have to go through these things. I'm telling y'all now. Talk to your mama, talk to your auntie, your big sister. A lot of us have been through situations where we had low self-worth and we accepted things that we didn't want to accept. But once you know who you are, once you learn yourself and your worth, you got to make people pay for it. And when I say make them pay for it, you don't accept just anything. You don't let any man just come and beat on you or cheat on you or just tell you all kind of stuff. So when we talk about red flags, I would be amiss if I did not bring up situations where we're talking about fathers and mothers, baby mama, baby daddy drama. All right. I got to bring that up because it's a big issue. And that was actually something that inspired this podcast today. A lot of times when girls are pregnant, young ladies are pregnant, and they get pregnant for a guy that does not want to be bothered with the children or turns out to be a deadbeat daddy or whatever in some form or fashion. Sometimes people say, oh, well, you knew what you were doing when you did it. You knew he was a deadbeat when you lay down with him. You knew he wasn't this. You knew he wasn't that. Now, let me say this. That could be true in a lot of cases. But I can be an honest witness and I put my hand on whatever Bible you want me to put it on because I'm going to tell you the truth. Because we have, not we, me, I'm talking about myself, I'm being vulnerable here. Because I had self-esteem issues, I accepted things that I would have never accepted. So I just, and I like the person, so I did want to be with that person or whatever. And so I'm not being blind. I was not being blinded. I actually, in my head, did research and thought that it would be a good deal. Oh yeah, this, and this is going to happen. Did the person have other children that they were neglecting? Not to my knowledge, right? So no, I did not know. But sometimes when you want to be in love, you're ignoring those red flags and stuff. When you want to be in love, sometimes you use rose-colored glasses, which means you choose not to see things. Again, I did not see anything that would indicate that I would have the situation that I'm having now. I promise you I did not. Because all the children that I saw were all very close and everything. As far as I know, my child was the first one that was, neglected. I'm not going to go too further on that because I don't like to talk about that situation. But I do like to let people know. All the time we don't know. So sometimes people may know, but sometimes we don't. So I always it's hard sometimes being a single mother because we're single mothers. We are dealing with a lot of stuff that's going on. And in the midst of you having your baby, going through your postnatal and all that stuff, you have people making comments. If you do mention something about your baby, that, oh, well, you knew what you was doing. Not always. We don't always know. Now, with that being said, that's about people who don't know, because some of them don't know. They really don't. You can say whatever you want on the other end. I'm telling you what I know for a fact. I know several situations where it was like that. Some people really put on a really good face, and then they walk away for whatever reason. Sometimes we never know the reason. I still don't know the reason, but I never saw it coming. Had I saw it coming, I would have never done that. Now I know a lot of people always say you're never supposed to regret anything, but I disagree. I do believe that we should regret some things because that's how we know that we made a mistake. Yes, we did make a mistake. Is my child a mistake? Of course not. She's not a mistake. He's not a mistake. My children are not mistakes. However, the chemistry makeup that allowed me to be blessed with them could have been a little bit different. So yes, you are supposed to have regrets because you would do things differently. Because if you don't regret it, that means you would do the same thing again tomorrow. Wouldn't do it again tomorrow. All right. So I just do want to, I did want to kind of clear that up for anybody who knows me and might, have whatever to say. I am very honest about everything that I say. We always don't know. But anyway, let me switch over to what I'm about to really say, which is the point of the podcast, is that some people do know. It's 2023. We are constantly trying to get to become better. We are trying to be better people. We're trying to fix the things of the past. It's no excuse for you to lay down unnecessarily with somebody who you don't see no future with. And this goes to men and women. This goes to boys and girls, especially my teenagers. Do not lay down with someone else, unprotected especially, that you have no plans on being with, because you never know the outcome. For every cause, there's an effect. So something always gonna come. Might be something small, might be something big. But you have to know that there's a possibility that several things can happen when you mix the birds and the bees, if y'all know what I'm talking about. If you don't see yourself having a future with a person, you don't know enough about this person to have a future, don't do it. And I'm just telling you, don't do it. My situation both times was different because I was in somewhat long-term relationships, or at least I thought. I was in long-term relationships. And even with being in a long-term relationship, even with some people actually being married and still having situations with their baby daddies or baby mamas or whatever, that stuff still happened. So with that being said, if you know somebody even less than that, or you don't know them at all, I know stuff feel good and you want certain stuff, but it's not worth it, y'all. It's not worth coming up with a baby that the other person doesn't want. Because I could tell you, well, not personal experience. Well, yeah, personal experience. I can tell you that hurts when you with somebody and you having a baby, even though you know it might not be the best to have a baby, but you end up still having a baby, and then that person tell you something like, oh, you can have a what. I mean, now it's illegal, but back in the day, people would tell you that, and they would think that would be okay. That's hurtful. Like, so when a man telling that to a woman, I mean, now these new women, let me say this, y'all all a little different than me. So I can't quite say I'm speaking for every woman, but I'm just telling y'all because I want y'all to know a little bit more. I don't want y'all to have to go through the same thing, because I'm actually talking to a young girl right now that's going through a similar situation. And I want her to understand that I'm on her side. I am with you full force because I'm a woman as well. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you what I wish somebody told me. I'm going to tell you, you gotta be careful. Now, people told me be careful. People told me certain stuff, and I didn't listen. Or maybe I didn't listen. I don't know if they told me or not. But that's neither here or there. All I'm saying is you have to pay attention. Do not put yourself in no predicament that you don't know how to get yourself out of. It used to be back in the day you could come up with some money and your problems would go away. That's not the same. If you can't see yourself marrying a person, not saying when you have a baby you have to marry him, but it's a commitment that you're going to have to this person. So I said all that to say, do not ignore red flags. It's not supposed to be a long video. It is supposed to be an impactful one. And I hope that I did impact somebody on this video. I was vulnerable and I'm telling y'all my truth. I ain't trying to start no drama to whoever the people is that think I'm talking about them. Not talking about no drama. Ain't got no smoke. I don't want none of that. I'm just trying to help somebody, because I can tell you right now, I don't want to have another child at all. I'm old anyway, but even if I wasn't old, I don't want to have another child because I had some horrible experiences when it came down to pregnancy. I never want another child again. And I don't want somebody else to be ruined like I am. I am ruined. I'm ruined as far as I don't see the beauty in that. And that's just come from me telling you the truth. I like y'all, kids is cool, but that's another podcast for another day. And I do go to therapy, but I have learned a lot, y'all, and I do want to share these messages with y'all. I'm not one of those negative people. I like to look at both sides and tell y'all, what I think can go and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's my short video for today. If y'all have any questions or anything like that, please comment Please let me know what y'all think, because I promise you, I'm really trying to help. I hate to see young girls go through what a lot of us went through back in the 90s when teen pregnancy and stuff was big, 90s and 2000s. You don't see it as often, but us young girls, well, those young girls are still being hurt by men, by boys that they don't deserve to be hurt by. I saw a picture. Let me see if I got this picture on my phone. I might have deleted it, but it hurt me. And like I said, I don't want to be the person to sound like I'm a prude or whatever, like whatever. But let me show y'all a video. And I don't even know who this young lady is. I don't know her. But I want to show y'all this. And this is kind of sad as a woman. I'm speaking as a woman. You know, I'm always speaking as a woman. But look at this, y'all. That's the Ray Deshawn. I love the Ray Deshawn. That's my dude. I like his little music and all that. And I get it. Whatever. You know, some women are a little more open than others. But I just hate this picture. And I hate his quote that he has under this. And sometimes I know, you know, everybody want a bag, whatever. Everything not worth money, y'all. You know, some stuff is, you know, but that's me. I don't want to seem like I'm, you know, all whatever, bougie or whatever. But sometimes we got to draw a line in the sand, y'all, and stop letting people cross it. Because the men been doing all this stuff to us because we've been allowing them. I used to always fuss with guys on the internet and say, stop calling a woman a B. Stop calling her a H. And then the proliferation of the internet started, and all kind of stuff, pictures and videos and new songs and all kind of stuff came on that's kind of directly different from what I was saying. I mean, I'm getting off subject now, but we'll talk about that another time. The point of this post is do not ignore red flags, y'all. Every single time, and this is law. Every single time I ignored a red flag from a dude, it came back to bite me. For I don't remember my first situation with the red flag. I don't remember. But one time, actually, I had a guy punch me. Not hard, but, you know, look at me, still making excuses. He punched me on my leg. That was a red flag. And I was crazy about him. But I let it slide. Thank goodness that never went anywhere. Another time I remember a red flag, I was going with this guy. He really had no reason to lie to me, but this boy lied about a football game. We was supposed to be going to the football game together. So I'm like, but when I call him to go, he not answering his phone. Why? Not sure. So I go to the game anyway, because that's like a game I never miss. It was St. Aug versus 35. I never missed that game. So I went to the game. It just so happened I look down and I see him. I see he got his work clothes on and all that. So I'm like, this dude playing with me? So I'm calling him. I see he look at his phone and he answered. And I said, what you doing? He said, oh, I'm at work. I'm about to clock out. I was like, we still going to the game? He like, yeah, we still gonna go. And I said, and I called him back. I said, you still at work? He said, yeah. I said, why you lying? I said, I'm sitting right here by you. And all I can remember is them big eyes turn and look back. He still never saw me. But that was one of those red flags that I should not have ignored. Every time I think about it, I want to slap myself for not running when that happened. I know it seems small, y'all, but all them little small things build up. So do not ignore those red flags. Another one, had a small incident. I wouldn't even call it cheating. I'm not going to call it cheating, but I'm going to call it a very interesting conversation. I saw that. I let it slide. And guess what? He slided all up over me for the next couple of years. So don't ignore red flags, y'all. A woman to a young girl, do not ignore red flags. You are worth more than that. You deserve better. You do not deserve somebody to mess over you, somebody to cheat on you, somebody to use you or abuse you. If you got to be by yourself, be by yourself. Trust me, there are people out there that's better for you. And if you got to be by yourself, it's better than being with somebody that make you feel alone. All right, I got to go pick up my kids now. So that's the end of today's episode. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to have a good couple of ones coming up soon. So I'm wearing my Katrina shirt, so I'm about to record my Katrina interview. But anyway, y'all make sure y'all stick around. Go check out some of those other videos that I do have already. My podcast that I have up. Y'all go check them out. I have a lot of good ones. I really want y'all to check out. We're trying to fix ourselves. We're being different over here. We changing things. We trying to be positive. So if the law say the same, I will see y'all next week. Peace.